Good afternoon, friends and members of the InfoSpace Talk family. Welcome once again to InfoSpace Talk Astrolab, a space where astrology meets psychology to reveal the deeper patterns behind human behavior, life purpose, and destiny. On this channel, we explore the hidden forces that influence how we think, feel, and act using astropsychology as a tool for awareness, growth, and transformation. If you find our content enlightening and meaningful, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share your thoughts in comments section. I continue to discuss aspects of the ascendant because spiritual astrologers regard the ascendant as the focal point in human life, and it has a decided impact on our growing and adult life. Follow these discussions closely, and if you have a question, put in a word in the comment section. The first house, often called the house of self, represents the physical body, the personality expression, the temperament, and the ego's initial interaction with the outer world. Its cusp, the ascendant, marks the soul's first moment of emergence into individuality, setting the tone for how a child engages with family, peers, and society. The first house also governs our instinctive reactions, our physical appearance, and the subtle aura that others sense around first meeting you. This is why astrologers regard the ascendant as the gateway of incarnation. It is the point where spirit first encounters the material world through personality. And as Max Sandel observes, the experiences of early childhood becomes etched into the subconscious mind, forming emotional patterns, fears, insecurities, bitterness, and habitual responses that continue to shape adult behavior. The first house is thus a psychological blueprint of how the soul adapts to its earliest environment. The ascendant describes not only the outer mask we wear, but also the deeper emotional signature behind it. The ascendant itself is actually the environment, our basic early environment, and then the circumstances that we are born into. And mostly it builds our emotional and psychological minds. It's the ascendant and its ruling planet and the aspects it forms reveal how confidently or defensively the self emerges into life. The place in the horoscope where you find the planet, the ruling planet, is a deciding factor, and the aspect it makes to other planets. When harmonious, the ascendant reflects authenticity, warmth, and emotional security. When challenged, it may produce guardedness, defensiveness, pride, or insecurity, depending on the planetary influences present. Many times people ask, why is this person so kind and compassionate, while other appears paranoid, insecure, or aggressive? Why do some individuals feel the need to dominate, bully, or control others? These are most of the times a sense of emptiness, within them causes all these triggers? The answer often lies in the nature of the ascendant and the planets influencing the first house. For instance, a strong Mars influence here can make one assertive, energetic, or combative, while Saturn may indicate early feelings of inadequacy or fear of rejection, leading to rigid control or emotional withdrawal. Pluto or Uranus may intensify a sense of alienation or superiority that drives a person to dominate in order to feel safe. Pluto has this a cunning sense of jealousy in itself, and mostly Pluto's influence is obsessive, and therefore, if it is found in the first house, causes a lot of a sense of urgency in building power, acquiring power in the person. Uranus, on the other hand, has this sense of revolution, rebellion, as you can see in mythology when Prometheus went to steal the fire of the gods, Olympian gods, and then use it to set humanity free. Yes, so these are the characteristics of these two planets. Historical figures vividly illustrate these dynamics. Looking at Napoleon Bonaparte, Adolf Hitler, Saddam Hussein, Flight Lieutenant Jerry Rawlings, Charles Taylor, etc., etc. All of these people exhibited ascendant patterns pointing to deep emotional insecurities and early psychological wounds. Their leadership style, though powerful, often mask unresolved trauma and insecurities. To survive, they projected strength and sought to control or intimidate others, and using defensive mechanisms rooted in fear rather than confidence. Thus, the ascendant and first house reveal far more than outward personality. They tell the story of how the child within the adult learned to survive, how fear can disguise itself as ambition, and how healing self-image allows the soul to express its truest light in the world. And we now touch on the planet influences on the first house. Planets in the first house are closely aspecting the ascendant indicate specific dynamics in early childhood experiences. This placement reveals the nature of challenges, personality traits, and subconscious emotional patterns that shape the individual's approach to life. The first house governs self-expression, appearance, instinctive reactions, and the initial way one engages with the world. It is the stage upon which the soul begins its personal story, and any planet placed here becomes a dominant actor in shaping how others perceive us and how we perceive ourselves, also affect the structure, shape, and gait of the body. Every nature of ascendant, every symbol we find in the first house tells a story of our personality, of our temperament, and also of our past circumstances that have brought us a significant present destiny. We look at the sun in the first house. When the sun occupies the first house, the individual radiates vitality, confidence, and a powerful sense of identity. This placement endows leadership potential and a natural need to shine. The early life often involves being recognized or struggling to be recognized for one's uniqueness. Such individuals tend to carry a strong will and creative spirit, but may also wrestle with egocentric tendencies if self-awareness is underdeveloped. That is, if the sun has any particular peculiar aspects to perhaps Saturn or Mars. Such people with sun in the first house, their childhood may have required them to be someone, to stand out or uphold a family image. The lesson is learning to balance healthy self-expression with humility and generosity of spirit. Then we touch on the moon in the first house. The moon here intensifies emotional receptivity and instinctive awareness. These people are impressionable, empathetic, and deeply affected by their environment because they are closely connected with their subconscious memory from the past. Their early life often centers around mother or maternal figure whose moods and needs shape the child's self-perception. As adults, they display sensitivity, nurturing tendencies, and moodiness. They feel like life rather than think it. And their physical appearance often reflects changing inner states. The key lesson is to establish emotional independence, learning that one's identity can exist apart from others' feelings or approval. Then we also look at Mercury in the first house. With Mercury rising, curiosity defines personality. These individuals are communicative, adaptable, and mentally agile from an early age. Childhood may have involved frequent learning, reading, or moving around, an environment stimulating mental development. They express themselves through words, weight, and quick responses. However, Mercury here can also lead to restlessness, nervous energy, or over-analyzing of self-image. Their lesson is to use the intellect not as a mask for insecurity, but as a genuine channel for connection and understanding. And we have Venus, the planet of beauty and attraction. When Venus graces the ascendant, charm, beauty, and diplomacy radiate from the personality. The individual seeks harmony and is naturally affectionate, often possessing aesthetic awareness and a need for peace in their surroundings. In childhood, they may have learned that love and acceptance come through being pleasing or attractive. As adults, they possess magnetism and social grace, but must guard against dependency on others or others' approval. Their sole lesson lies in cultivating inner beauty and self
Dear
worth
viewers, the
rather
continuation
than
of this
relying on
interesting topic
outer
will
validation
soon be
or
posted.
relationships to
Subscribe and stay
define
tuned for more.
identity.